from around the world, welcome to the Insurance Guys Podcast. My name is Scott Howell, your fearless host and leader, insurance agency owner and insurance evangelist for I Protect Insurance and Financial Services, based out of Huntsville, Alabama. And before we get started on today's episode, please help me welcome. He is a 6'3" sophomore from Mobile, Alabama, parade first team All-American, Rivals 5-star recruit. He is a fantastic insurance agent and a great American. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together and welcome the incomparable Mr. Bradley Flowers. How are you, Bradley?
Fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing better than I deserve. Bradley, I need a favor.
Okay.
Saturday night, going to a Savannah Bananas game.
Oh, that's right.
Need you to reach out to my boy Cole, our boy Jesse Cole. Tell Jesse, hey, Scott's coming to one of your Bananas games this weekend. If you run into him, tell him I said hello. I'm excited.
You could end up on that field.
No, that's fine. I don't mind. But Bradley, got a question.
Mm-hmm.
Have you been to a Savannah's game?
I have. I went to the first Savannah Bananas game that did not happen in Savannah, Georgia.
Mobile.
Mm-hmm. They did the One City World Tour, which is where we got that name from, in Mobile, Alabama.
So here's my question. To me, this is just going to be a master's class in marketing. Like, I don't give a shit about the baseball. I just want to watch all the stuff that happens before and during and after to see this.
So there's two things you need to do.
Okay.
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you.
No, please.
You need to get there an hour before.
Okay.
Because there's a show in the parking lot.
Right.
And then the other thing you need to do is you need to go to the merchandise area, because they don't charge any tax or anything. It's all built in.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like a $22 T-shirt and you get there and it's $28. So that's two like little things that I think they do extremely well.
So I think you know this, but we do need to try whenever, which doesn't seem like their season ever ends, but when their season ends, we have got to get Jesse back on this show. And the reason is he has just announced that he is creating a league.
Mm-hmm. Banana Ball League.
And I don't want to say, and I think I even saw some social media, TikTok, Instagram stuff. He's quick to say, look, I'm not trying to compete with the MLB, but you can soft soap that any way you want to. You kind of are.
Yeah.
When you know what I'm saying? Like when you get, when you're selling out Fenway Park and you got 10 teams, 15 teams, you kind of, there is a competition there, right?
I was talking to Cole that works here last week. We were talking about that, and the logistics. Like, it's one thing to like have like the Boston Red Sox. Okay, yeah, they go play Seattle Mariners. They fly all these people across the country, and then they turn around and come back, right? But to do a tour with players from two teams, sure, you have some backup players, all the employees, I bet they travel with 25, 30 employees.
Sure. And
Jesse brings his family, and you're going from city to city to city to city with no home base. Because you think about like a concert, like a band's got 5 members.
Right.
You're talking about 2 baseball teams. Like the logistics of pulling all of that. I mean, the logistics have to be insane. Like to pull, and then also you're doing a show, and by the way, the show is different every single game. It's different. The logistics of that, you have to be a special human or either a psychopath to pull that off.
I think he may be a little bit of both.
But it's such a great, like the Savannah Bananas are such a great lesson in like customer experience and like, okay, what can we do that's within our control? Like one thing that Jesse's big on is like, what parts normally suck when you go to a sporting event, and let's make those better. That's why they have the show in the parking lot for the people waiting in line. It's like, what can we do as insurance people to make the things that suck better? You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Guys, we got a special guest on for you today. This podcast has 3 legs. It's a 3-legged stool. We have thought leaders in the industry and people who are motivational type folks to come on and help you, because let's face it, this is not an easy industry to be in. This industry can provide for your family and long term be a great opportunity, but it can also suck sometimes, right, Bradley?
Mm-hmm.
So we want to do that. Then we have the newest technologies out there for you to go try. Now, notice I said try. Doesn't mean you got to go buy them, but at least do a demo and see if it's the right fit for your agency. And as I say, when I talk about technologies, big doors swing on little hinges, and maybe that new technology is just the right fit for your agency, and you go, damn, this is getting us one step closer to the goal line. And then the third leg of that stool, ladies and gentlemen, is who we have on here today. Successful agency owners who, as I say, every time we have one of these guys on, my job as the co-host of this podcast is to help you agents any way we can. And so what I'm going to do today, like I do every time, is tell our all-star guest we have on today, his job today is simple. Help insurance agents any way he can, and maybe just one little piece of advice that he gives you today clicks with you, then clicks with your agency staff, and now you're living the life that you deserve to live, and that I know you deserve to live, and that he knows that you deserve to live. So let me give him the introduction that he's always deserved. Ladies and gentlemen, he was originally from Coolidge, Arizona, and he currently resides in Queen Creek, Arizona. He loves three things: Jesus, hunting, and building businesses. And his journey isn't just about building a company or a business, it's about building people. And over the years, he's had to fight through struggles that most entrepreneurs face, from starting with nothing to navigating failure to figuring out the hard lessons no one teaches you. My God, I have never heard anything more true in my life. And now he's driven by a deep desire to help others through shortcut those same strategies, whether in business or in life. His message is simple. You don't have to carry the weight alone, and you don't have to reinvent the wheel to be successful. He is the founder of Prime Risk, an agency he's built on focus, discipline, and results. And he serves contractors and home service companies across the country. He sees it as more than an insurance agency. To him, it's proof that when you focus on the right things, strip away excuses, get clear on who you serve, and execute with consistency, you can build something remarkable from the ground up. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my profound honor today to introduce to you first-time guest on the IGP, Mr. Kody Houk. How are you doing, Kody?
Scott, I am phenomenal. Thank you for that intro. It is a true pleasure and honor to be on with you guys, and I am just looking forward to us making some agencies better today.
Absolutely, brother.
I love when we have a guest on and I see the Shure microphone. I know we're not going to have any audio issues on the guest end. Like, okay, he knows what he's doing.
That's right. So,
I
Kody,
can't tell you how many times we see people on with like AirPods, and it's like the sound that those do not transmit sound well.
No, they don't. Kody, I'm sitting here and we've got so much to talk about today, but I feel like I did the first time I walked into the meeting room at the University of Alabama for the football team. I walk in and it's where Nick Saban used to address the team, usually on a daily or weekly, 3 times a week. They'd sit in stadium seats, look like a big stadium seats with probably 50, theater seats in it. And then behind him, while he's talking to the team, were these exact same signs. Now, they said a few different things, but behind you, I see one that says perseverance. And then I see one that says discipline. And I see one, and what it says, core values for success. Very similar to the University of Alabama's football program when he was there. Tell me a little bit about those.
There?
Huh?
What do you mean when he was there?
Nick Saban.
All the Alabama fans think he's still there. What are you talking about?
Don't get Bradley started. Hey,
Hey, look, we got it. We're 1 week away from college football.
I understand. I understand. Tell me a little bit about those, and like, are all those things that you saw somewhere and you're like, damn, I like that, I got to get that on the wall, or are they things that you kind of developed yourself?
No, these are things I saw that just really resonated with me, man. The last couple of years has been a story of instilling discipline on myself. I've pursued a lot of things. I've had my hands in a lot of things in life. I've actually come up with some really damn good ideas over the years and had no discipline and ability to execute and stick with them long enough. And that's where the perseverance came in. Was, you know, I'm a huge Alex Hormozi fan. If you guys didn't see the book launch this weekend, holy cow. Talk about how
he sold he made $150 million in one day selling a book.
Bro, I'm seeing 225 right now.
Probably.
So Bradley's a huge Alex fan as well. What is this book? Because I've been hearing about this. What is this book about? What is this book? What's the context of this book?
How to get your customers to pay more money.
Okay.
That's basically it. The thing I like about Alex is he breaks things down in such a simple level that it makes it very easy to understand and very easy to identify problems. Whereas a lot of business owners, we go down rabbit holes of stuff that doesn't matter. You know, I spent, and I'll show you my whiteboard out here, Scott, once we're done. I spent a couple of hours Friday. We want to increase our new business sales substantially next year. And I did what Alex says. I was like, let's find the one thing that we can improve on that will make the biggest impact. Instead of chasing all these other avenues, what's one thing we can do if we flip that and improve that? And so that's what I like about Alex. Yeah, and the steroid out muscle, and there he does play a little bit on like the douchey entrepreneur thing to get attention. You know, like there's some stuff I don't like, but overall, like someone that I would pay an untold amount of money to come into my business and tell me what I'm doing wrong.
And I
did not watch the launch because I was spending time with my kids at the beach, but I watched about an hour of it on the drive home.
Man, the guy just made $225 million in a day, and people are crapping all over him over the internet for making a $6,000 offer to teach you exactly how he did it.
Yeah, I know.
Come on.
Well, here's what I want to see though, Kody. I want to see an independent insurance agent. Like I want to see him work with a P&C agency. Because, you know, he's doing the little things now where the business owner comes in and he breaks down the problems in front of them on camera, you know, and they go through it. We got to get a P&C agent on there because so much of what he talks about is very hard to translate to property and casualty because we don't control our prices. We can't do like specials. We can't do.
You know what I mean? Gary Vaynerchuk.
Yeah.
Like a lot of what he talks about, I'm like,
there's, and you have to do some to apply 100% of Alex's theories as it relates to selling and upselling and all of that. You have to do like some mental gymnastics to find a version of that works. You know what I mean? Especially with like the online lead stuff.
Yeah.
Right. And so, and I'm sure it can be done, but I would love to see him break down an independent agency. And I'm actually kicking myself, Kody, because when he did his last book launch, which I think was 2 years ago, he went on every podcast in the world.
Yep.
And he said on the launch, the reason he did that is like, that's what you need to do when you're launching something. Like CJ and I, when we launched Referral Radar, we went on as many podcasts as we could, right? You need to do that, right? And I was kicking myself the last launch. I was like, dang it, why didn't we ask him to come on? Like we've interviewed Gary, we've interviewed like bigger, like there's a good chance he would say yes. And I freaking missed it again, dude. I just completely we've been so busy here. Like I just completely spaced and like didn't even think about it, you know?
Hey, Kody, are you and Bradley saying that for $6,000, he will do a breakdown of the issues in your company or
No,
something?
he offered, you got his book, and then actually, for that offer, it was essentially buy 200 copies of the book. Right.
Gotcha.
And then he's going to donate them. But for doing that, you got like 14 other playbooks of how they've built acquisition.com up to where it is.
Wow.
Plus you got their ACQ GPT that was already pre-programmed to go in, and you can ask it all of your business advisory, marketing advisory, everything based on their knowledge base.
I'm shocked you didn't do that.
I actually pre-bought it for $500 when I got my ticket for the event, so I made it out on that thing.
Wait. So the $500 got you all of the $6,000 stuff?
Yeah.
Oh, see, I did that,
but
too.
it only got me $15.
Yeah, so I already did that. I already did it. Yeah. So the thing is I didn't get.
So there's an event that the two of you are going to go to?
No. It was basically like, so he does these workshops at his office where you pay $5,000 and you go in for a day.
Okay.
And they help your business.
That doesn't seem bad.
No,
terrible.
I charged $2,500 for mine.
Yep.
Yeah.
He so either he's undercharging or I'm overcharging, one of the two.
Well, no, I'm sitting here thinking, I bet it's like, okay, here's your $5,000, Alex, but you can't go in his office until like October of 2026 because he's booked up.
That's kind of how it is.
Yeah.
But basically what you get with the $6,000 offer is basically they took the play-by-play of what they, like their playbooks for how they've helped these businesses and put it all into one like big package.
So why don't we do this? What if we got a group of agents together, and instead of doing this for Scott and Bradley, we set up maybe like a GoFundMe and take 10 agencies and say, all right, guys, we're raising how much did you say it was? 5,000?
Yeah.
We're going to raise $5,000. We're asking every agency for $100. We're going to take our videographer, go in there and do this through the Insurance Guys podcast, but every bit of information we have, we're going to put out in like a series of podcasts.
That would be interesting. I wonder if they make you sign an NDA. I don't know.
Kody,
I'll tell you.
We make
thoughts?
agents sign NDAs when they do our workshop, but it's not because I don't want them sharing my info. It's because I want each of those people that come to it to feel like they can share the nitty gritty of their agency without worrying about who's in the room that's going to say, well, John down the street had a, EPLI claim or something like that.
Kody, here's what we say to the Alex Hormozi team. Guys, we're PNC insurance agents. Do you think anybody else is going to give a shit about this besides PNC insurance agents?
I'll tell you what, man, Bradley's point kind of spot on with that. And I think on the personal line side, man, that stuff is really, really hard to replicate.
Yeah.
I think it's a little easier when you start going upstream on the commercial side because you don't have to make the direct offers yourself. You can make partner offers and partner with other companies that are like, hey, we'll do this for your clients. And then that becomes offers that you can start to stack. And we're actually building some programs like that right now. But
Kody, I don't understand what you're talking about right now. Like you're because so let's back up. Remember this. Scott is just like the other 250,000 insurance agents listening to this. I don't listen or spend a lot of time listening to Alex. So the stuff you just said to me sounded like you're speaking Mandarin Chinese to me. You see what I'm saying? Like you were talking about partnering or something. What are you talking about?
So, we're actually kind of transitioning out of kind of the one-to-one sale thing. And we're another niche we're building right now. We're going and building program business. So in that, we've partnered with like an incident response company that for being one of our clients, they give all of our clients a 30% discount for doing business with them, just for being clients with us.
So that's where you could get into. So like one of Hormozi's big things is like when you're advertising to customers, you give them something for free that you would normally charge for as a way to entice them to spend more money with you. And so like in that case, if you had a prospect, you could say, hey, I'm going to give you this incident response for free, no strings attached. Like there's different things. It commercial opens you up. You also have a little more pricing control. You can charge a service fee instead of commission. But I agree, it's very, very hard to do a lot of that with personal lines.
Yeah, and it's things we do on even the contractor side of the agency. Of we'll handle all your COI compliance, and if we get one that's not compliant, we have agreements in place with all of our clients that we'll reach out to those to your subs on your behalf and get them up to snuff. And obviously, we've got some selfish ambition behind that too, right? Because now they become prospects in our pipeline.
What tech are you using to manage that?
What was that?
What are you using any tech to manage that, or is it just your own?
I'm playing with Certificial right now, trying to see about getting that. That hasn't been a very pleasant experience up to this point. So we do just have like a compliance@primerisk.com email address that those come into, and we manually check.
Yeah, we had a weird onboarding with them as well. I like the folks over there, but all right, so take us into. We went on an extreme tangent, but that was good. I will actually release this podcast this week, since we're talking about the Hormozi launch, so that it'll be very timely.
But the last thing I'll say about that before we move on is I think you pitch it to Alex as a challenge.
Maybe so.
We have talked to agents like Kody. We don't think your shit works in our space. We're challenging you to help us.
Send somebody there, and we should pick like the worst agent in the history of the world to go. No, I'm joking. I don't even know who that is. But
so Kody, let's get on for just a minute. First of all, get in my DeLorean with me for just a second. Now, there's two big old boys in a DeLorean,
and you said it'd been a rough year, so take us through a lot of that too.
Absolutely, go back in time and just kind of give us the elevator spill on how we got in insurance, and then just kind of bring us up to today. And while you're doing that, kind of fill us in on what's been going on this last year, and then I can get in the boat with you.
Yeah, 10,000 foot view, man. I came in the industry in 2017. One of my really good friends messaged me one day. We were going to church together, and he messaged me one day and said, "Hey, man, I'm looking for a sales guy in my office. You interested?" Said, "Yeah. What's the deal?" It was captive agency, just wanted me to come in as a producer and run personal lines. So went and got licensed in 2 weeks and started and kicked butt there and hit that year wall that a lot of producers do in that spot, and said, "This sucks. I'm going to go back to doing what I was doing before." And then after a year of being out, said, "That wasn't too bad. I'm going to come back, but I'm going to go to the indie side this time." Got a job managing a small independent agency here. And then the zombie apocalypse happened. And then that agency actually ended up going out of business. And I had a decision to make of, am I going to open my own agency during this most challenging time in the country and uncertainty, or am I just going to go get a job somewhere? And with very little money in the bank, opened up the Houk agency. Was just going to be your friendly neighborhood personal lines guy and throw my name on the internet, and all the business was going to come pouring in, and I was going to get rich in a year. We all know how that works out for everybody who has that mindset. So grinded through it, man. After a couple of years, I had written like 300,000 in premium. I was selling policies half the year, and then guiding deer and elk hunts half the year to actually pay my bills. And then I was kind of on my last leg, going to sell what I had and go work somewhere, and decided to go all in on the commercial space, man, and spent $1,500 that I really didn't have to sponsor an event, and landed what is now my biggest client at that event. After I gave my little 2 minutes on stage, he came and said, "Hey, I hate my agent. My work comp's up for renewal. Can you be my agent?" Yeah, man, sign here. And it was a $10,000 commission. And what is this about? And at that point, made the decision to start transitioning out of personal lines and go strictly commercial. And then about 6 months later, decided I was just going to go hard on contractors and build around that. And a couple of years later, here we are, man.
So tell me about this last year. Let's get in the boat together for a minute. I've been having a lot of trouble this last year myself. What's happened in this past year that if you had it to do over again, maybe you'd do it a different way?
Scott, I can complain about the way the last year's gone. At the same time, it's all been growing problems.
Yeah.
So I can say it's all been a blessing, right? We grew.
The thing is, though, they never go away.
Yeah, right.
It's just the next level. There's different problems,
We went from 30K to 500K of revenue really fast.
Right.
And just trying to figure out how we were going to keep scaling that. And was it going to be people? Was it going to be AI and VAs and tech and all of that? Was that the route we were going to go initially? You know, I'm sure if you guys have followed any of my stuff, I was hardcore against all the tech stuff for quite a while, right? I've had a program where I've been mentoring agents for the last 8 months as well. And I'd be a piss poor leader if I didn't have to humble myself sometimes and say that there were some things I was wrong about. And
you know, one thing I like about you though, and so this podcast, you know, I've had you in the back of my head for a while to do a podcast, but we have, I mean, we've got probably 20 emails at any given time of people that Shelby needs to schedule, you know, so it's like, sometimes it's like people reach out, I want to be on the podcast. Okay, we'll talk to you next year. You know, one thing I like about you is there's a lot of people that, that are, and I don't mean this in a negative connotation, but they're trying to be a thought leader in the industry, right? And they hide the fact that their agency's $500K in revenue, which I think is great, by the way. Like your agency's not that old. Like you're doing phenomenal, right? Or they hide the fact that they have had struggles or make mistakes or whatever. Like there's people that are thought leaders in this industry that have really small agencies, but nobody knows.
Yeah.
And one thing that appealed to me about you is you were like brutally honest and transparent of like, hey, I think there was even like one tweet where you were like, you know, disagreeing with something. Look, my agency's only 500K in revenue. So maybe when it's 5 million, I'll think differently, but right now this is not relevant to, you know what I mean? And like, that's one thing that I really like about you. And I think it makes people trust you more. And like, by the way, like even with me, like when we do these workshops for agents here, we send them a survey that asks them about 40 questions. But one of those questions is, how big is your book? And we haven't had this happen yet, but the day that somebody fills that out and their agency's larger than ours, I'm going to call them and be like, hey, are you sure? Like, just so we're clear, you're bigger than I am. So like, you sure you want to come to this, right? I'm never going to try and represent that we're something we're not. And I guess that's what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to give you your flowers of like, you're not out here trying to represent that you're somebody that you're not.
I appreciate that a lot, man. When I made the decision to offer mentorship and stuff to people, I made that decision with myself that it was I wasn't going to bullshit anybody. You know, I went through the stats and understood like that growth that I had in a 2.5 year stretch. Not a lot of people do that.
Yeah.
It was something that I had figured out, but at the same time, I know that there's still a ton of agents out there that are revenue wise a lot bigger than I am. I think our profitability stands up with some of the best damn dudes in the industry for sure. But I will never represent and pretend to be someone I'm not. So I appreciate that a lot. That really does a lot.
Well, and it's like too, you know, I've told people a lot, like, you know, there's a lot of folks in every industry, man. And this is why people are like skeptical of like the Hormozis. Like I was skeptical as hell of Hormozi the first time I saw him. You see the wife beater and the beard and you're like, what is this dude? Like whatever, you know? I've told people like, find me content that I've put out talking about hiring and managing people prior to 2019. You won't find it because I didn't do that. Therefore, I didn't make content about it. There's a lot of folks, man, in just the world and the social media landscape we live in now that just speculate on stuff they've never done. And it's like, that's not good and that's why, like, I feel like the collective insurance industry has shifted a little bit to thinking that I'm a jerk a little bit online recently because I've been a little bit more, I've pushed back a little bit more on a lot of stuff in some of the groups and on Twitter. But when I see blatant bad advice, I can't help but, because there's some young agent out there that's going to see that and take it as gospel. And the person who's tweeting it or posting it has no idea what they're talking about and are probably trying to sell a product, right? And I just have a problem with bad advice. So,
dude,
anyway.
I can tell you, man, that was something that really kicked my ass for the first couple of years of trying to do this. Was
you try to listen to everybody?
I didn't have the insurance industry experience, but I've managed teams of 90 guys in Fortune 100 companies. I've built teams in other industries and managed at that level and scaled those companies. I came into here And it's like we were just talking about, everybody treats this industry like it's some kind of damn unicorn that nothing from any other industry applies to.
Yeah.
It's business. It is prospect
Yeah.
profitable leads. It is sell them. It is service them.
Yeah. And there are
It's damn
nuances,
simple.
but there's nuances in every industry.
Absolutely.
And you just touched on something. I think too many insurance agency owners run their insurance agencies like an insurance agency and not like a business.
When I see somebody, and I'm sure you've seen me all over this, when I see somebody throw out and only ever talk about how big their premium volume is, I know I'm talking to an agency owner, not a business owner.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That is the most meaningless KPI I've ever seen. I don't care how much money I'm funneling into the insurance companies. I care what's left in my bank account at the end of the year.
Here.
Yeah.
So, Kody, I got to ask. You made a broad, sweeping statement about mistakes that you've made this past year, and you started talking about, your leadership team, and y'all were talking about automations and technology and this and that. So let's drill down just a little bit from where you started, and then you reached that, what I call that next level. What are your thoughts, or where you're at today? What has changed relative to drilling down a little bit on those?
I think the biggest mistake that I made early, and I love that Scott, when you prefaced early in the show of go test tech, we're not telling you guys to buy tech.
100%.
Everybody was telling you to buy every damn thing whenever I came into this industry.
Dude.
And as a new guy here, hearing everybody say, if you don't have this, you're going to be irrelevant. You're going to fail. You're not going to make any money. This thing will sell all these policies for you. Man, I just way over leveraged my capital on bullshit that I was never, ever using.
You ain't the Lone Ranger, brother.
Yeah. There's a lot of folks, man. If they just sat down with a CFO to go through their spending categories, are 10xing in the technology category of what the benchmark would be.
Yeah.
And like I tell folks all the time, man, like we started Portal, I had a phone system, a management system, and an e-signature platform. That was it. And by the way, I was heavily involved in all these other like, hey, look, let's get this bad boy profitable first, and then let's layer on the customer experience thing, because your customer experience isn't going to matter if you're not making money or you go out of business.
Yep. And I think that's how agencies need to stay until they're at least at 300K in revenue.
Yeah.
I ran phone AMS, and I ran a basic CRM that isn't even an insurance CRM. I was using Go High Level for my CRM.
There's too many people too that are looking for the silver bullet that will sell policies for them and make them not have to pick up the phone.
Yeah.
And there's some things that will enhance it. There's some things that you can do that will get you some leads, but nothing's you have to have that core of, hey, can we sell to people one-to-one without, like, I'm honestly, like, I'm very, with 90% of the tech tools out there, I'm very, and the AI tools, I'm just not that excited about them. That was partly why, like, we wanted to do a partnership with Gale, because I am excited about Gale. I think they're doing good things, but most of the stuff out there, I'm just like I don't care about something that does what this does.
Yeah, but I think part of this, Bradley, and I think part of this, and I want both of your opinions on this. I think we're all a little bit over the tech.
Yes.
Y'all know what I'm talking about? Like, it's been talked about. So, when did all the 2012, 2013,
2019, 2018, 2019?
Oh my God!
Really,
and it really, everybody's tech.
CJ and I have talked about, and this is not me pitching my deal or whatever, but like CJ and I have talked about this with Referral Radar. Like our launch with Referral Radar has been really good. Like it's been like we've got a good 150 or so agents that are using.
Well, it's good. It's a good damn thing. It is solid as new
for
road.
Personal lines, very useful tool, but the signups haven't quite been what we expected, because we had to pay 1 metric butt ton for the data, and we've like talked about it, and I think it's because people are inundated with new tech tools. It's like every week something else is launching that's going to save your agency. You're getting 8 million emails about it. It's in the, and we, both of us feel like if we had launched it in 2019, we would have like 2,000 users.
100%,
But
man.
there's just so many, and you got people launching like stuff that's AI, that's just a Chat GPT wrapper, and there's really nothing special about it. And we've got, this stuff on Twitter, and people like, and everybody's talking shit about the incumbents.
Right.
And it's like, and you're like, it's like, there's just so much noise out there, and it's going to take there to be a bubble where a bunch of these companies fail for the better ones to kind of rise to the top.
And some of that's already happening.
For sure.
You know where there are very few people making any noise on the thing that actually moves the needle in this industry, though, is getting hands-on with agencies and just teaching them how to freaking execute.
Right.
Yeah.
That is where every agency needs the most help, is they have to learn how to execute on something. And many of them just think they're going to buy all these tools or buy some bullshit training programs that are going to fix every problem they have in their agency, or will just buy more leads. Dude, I talk to agencies sometimes that have 15, 20% closing ratios. They can generate leads all day long.
Yeah.
They aren't selling any of them.
Yeah, exactly.
The process sucks.
It's the execution. Well,
I see other agencies that are hovering 50, 60%, like $1 million revenue agencies hovering 50, 60% retention.
Yeah. Well, it's like
insane.
we had an agent that came to one of our workshops that was like, his closing ratio is 25%. And I'm like, okay, at the outside looking in, or excuse me, let me back up. His new business was low. And it's like, okay, what's your closing ratio? It's 25%. Okay, how many leads are you getting? Okay, there's two things you can do. We can get more leads, which is going to drive your closing ratio down, but you're going to sell more, revenue-wise. Mm-hmm. Or what is it in your process? And the thing that we identified, if I'm remembering correctly, was the speed to quote. Like the time from and this was a personal lines agency, the time from the lead coming in to you actually presenting it to the customer was like a couple days. And I'm like, brother, move that up to like 7 hours. And let's see what happens, and see if, you know what I mean? There's things like that are just like an execution level thing that if you just improve this one thing, you don't have to change anything else. But there's nobody really teaching that because it's hard to scale.
And that's even a really big shift and again, something I've had to change my mindset on when I talk to personalized agencies too, because coming up in that captive space, we had a totally different model, man. I don't know if you guys know Bill Whitley, Steve Wilmer. Bill wrote a book called
Steve Wilmer lives like an hour from me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So yeah, I came up selling personal lines in that Your World model, and we adapted it to the new business process. They taught it renewal. But when someone would call the agency and ask for a personal lines quote, I've got an opening 2 weeks from now, and you're going to come into the office and we're going to sit down together for an hour and a half. And we're going to go through an entire review of all of your assets. And then I'm going to put a plan together, and then we're going to sell. And our closing ratio on that was 90+%. And I don't bullshit that number at all. You can't do that today. We are just in such a demand-driven environment that you are 100% right, man, especially on the personal line side. It has become so commoditized.
Yeah. And it's not a commodity, but the consumer treats it like a commodity. Yes. And at the end of the day, how the consumer views you is what you are.
100%.
And that's actually one reason why, Kody, I like hiring people coming from State Farm or other captives, because if you look at the sales process of a good captive agency versus a good independent agency, the captive agency's going to be way better 99% of the time, because when you only have one product to sell, your churn is 20%.
Yep.
And there's really nothing you can do if that customer's rate goes up at renewal. You have to be an expert at those processes. And so I love hiring somebody from that side of the industry, because they can come in here and do really well initially with our arsenal.
Yeah.
Hey, Kody.
It's very easy to be lazy successful on the independent side.
Yeah.
Because you have 100%. All the advantages. You don't have to have a process, right? You can be successful without a process, but eventually it's going to bite you in the butt.
I think that's a measuring stick that agencies need to see, though, because again, you can be successful and write a lot of premium.
Right.
what's left at the end of the year after it, though. If you're just, you've got that
Right.
captive mindset of, man, I got to hit 50 policies this year, so I'm gonna call everybody I know that has a golf cart and sell them a policy.
Yeah. Well, it's like, so I had a buddy that was buying an agency, and I love talking about acquisitions. And he reached out to me and he's like, hey, I got this agency. I'm trying to buy his first one he's ever done. He's like, can I like run the numbers by you? I'm like, sure. Have I told you this story?
Mm-mm.
So I was like, okay, what's the gross revenue? He's like, gross revenue is 280. Okay. It's a 30-year-old agency. Okay. So when I tell you, Kody,
280 million?
No, 280,000.
Oh,
When I tell you, Kody, 30-year-old agency, 280,000 in revenue, would you define that as a failure?
Yeah.
Most people would. Okay. So I was like, okay, all right, sweet. Nice small agency. You're going to get a good deal. I said, what's the EBITDA? He said 230. I said, no, that's not the EBITDA. No. He's like, no. He's like, this guy's been in business 30 years. He has no agency management system. He has an office and a cell phone. And I was like, this guy's making 230 grand a year.
Mm-hmm. No employees.
He thinks he's crushing it.
Yeah.
And by some accounts, he is. I mean, you're a one-person operation, no headaches. Your only expense is a cell phone and a little small office. You're making 230 grand. And then I parlayed that in my head as I was like, this is the easiest industry in the world to make a ton of money in. That's why the Applieds and the Vertifores and all these technology companies don't really improve their systems, and why the carrot, because it's like this agency that by all accounts from the outside looking in is failing miserably. You've grown by, $1,000 in revenue every year you've been in business, or whatever the math is on 10,000 revenue, but yet you're netting 200 grand in an area where you can live this is in an area you can live a long way on 200 grand.
Mm-hmm.
Like well, the agents aren't complaining. Why do we have to change? They're making money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so there's a million different ways to make money in this industry.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that, man. And it's that obviously I would want nothing to do with that without having any
for
technology.
sure. Yeah.
The owner's cell phone being the one lifeline of communication.
Well, my one piece of advice is I was like, hey, you need to like buy the cell phone number for sure.
Yeah.
But then I've also seen agencies that were 6 million in revenue that are netting 160 grand.
Yep.
I've seen that.
I've seen it too.
And it's like, what's whose life would you rather have to,
Hey, Kody, I got one for you. I don't think I've ever said this on the podcast. Ren, where's my camera? That's my camera?
I'm going to say the same joke. Can I say the same joke?
Which
the one pointing at your face directly.
Okay. So I have a theory. You guys got into a conversation about closing ratio. Closing ratio is very important, right? Is there a direct correlation with the fact that I've read the latest reports from the Big I on national PNC and what the independent channel writes nationally versus captives, right? Mm-hmm. Now, this was substantiated by, I can't remember if it was the Insurance Journal or PNC Map. One of those has recently substantiated this in an article they wrote. But as an independent agency channel across the country, and I'm specifically saying this to you because of what you write. I've got it right here. You focus on contractors, let's see, contractors, home service companies. But do you think that there is a correlation between closing ratio being lower in the personal line side of the independent channel and the closing rate being higher? Because here's what everybody says, here's what the Big I says, here's what the PIA says. The independent channel, we own about 83% of the commercial market, commercial PNC in the United States, written by independent agents. Conversely to that, we only own, as the whole, PNC as a whole in the United States of America, we only own somewhere between 25 and 30% of that market. There has to be a correlation there, right?
I think that what Bradley was pointing out a few minutes ago is 100% spot on, man. Those guys have to pour so much of themselves into their process and the relationship side because they don't have the options and they don't operate their business like it's a commodity.
Right.
Coming into the independent side for me, it was okay. Well, we'll just quote them with somebody else. Okay, we'll just get the info and quote. We're going to have all these carriers. Somebody's going to win.
Right.
The commercial line side, completely different. One, the market is so limited for those captive guys. Here in Arizona, if the prospect has an ROC number, captive can't do anything with them at all.
Right.
But again, it's being able to stack value and decommoditize yourself more in the commercial market as well. I think that you can just present yourself with a lot more value than you can on the personal line side, and that commodity stigma is not there so much on the consumer side.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think anytime an agency's focused on commercial and that is their focus, whether they're, more of a generalist or whether they're niched out with 2 or 3 niches, I just feel like that closing ratio on commercial for them, their closing ratio is going to be higher, where if an agency's focused on personal lines and the independent channel, because that as an industry, we just don't control that much of the market, you're going to have a lower.
Yeah.
Well, I think what you see a lot too is, you've got to look at small business as a whole, right? Those small $500,000, $1,500 bops, the captive side is going to crush those things. They don't audit them. So the premium never gets any major adjustment for those guys to leave. You get them into those markets, they're just going to sit there.
Yeah.
Whereas you start getting into the more complex commercial stuff, then you've got audits and things to deal with. Captives aren't touching them.
Sure.
The other thing too that I love looking at on closing ratio is, so if you haven't done this in your CRM, I would do this. So our new business pipeline, whether it's commercial or personal lines, we have new lead, we have working, submitted to carrier, quote presented and closed. So that's our 30,000 foot process. I love comparing those columns to each other, right? So my new, which is cold new, it may be somebody that we haven't even talked to yet, but the producer, it's a company they want to prospect, so they add it there, right? My new to closed ratio is always going to be a lot lower than the other categories, right? So I want to look at new to quoted, right? So what percentage of the cold new leads that we get or warm leads are we actually presenting a quote to, right? I want to look at new to working. I want to look at working to quoted, and I want to look at quoted to sold. That, to me, that's where you can find some gaps in your process or comparing all of those categories to each other and see the difference.
I think it comes a lot down to process too, and what you're doing as an agency as well, right? If you're just slamming stuff through and quoting everything that comes in the door, your closing ratios are going to be lower. The way that I operate here, shout out to Trey and Mike over at Max Revenue. That process and going in and having these conversations up front and getting some upfront commitment from clients and uncovering some problems up front and having that wedge before we ever even start filling out accord forms and supplementals and all the crap that we have to do and having some buy-in, ultimately trying to get a BOR first. That's the way we operate. And, we close 80+% of stuff that we take to market, both on the contractor side. And now we're doing the same thing on the cyber side.
What's your pitch on the BOR?
Your agent sucks. I'll do better.
It's pretty good pitch.
It really is.
I'll tell you this. I love in the groups where people start complaining. It's whenever somebody talks about BOR, the victims of the other side of the BOR always come out. I posted in there the other day and somebody was complaining about it, and nobody pushed back on me. I said, look, if you lose an account to a BOR, 99% of the time it's because you didn't do your job. Nobody who does their job correctly loses on BOR.
It's a relationship.
And even if you get a BOR sent on one of your accounts, you usually have 10 days to get it back. And if you've done a good enough job, usually you can get it back.
It's easy here in the contractor space, man, because I see so many policies that are just written incorrectly. All of these companies out here are using 1099 labor all over the place, and they're in a policy that has an independent subcontractor exclusion for uninsured subs.
And they never know about it.
They never know about it.
Kody, I got a last question before we have to run. Are you ready for it?
Let's hear it.
You are where you are today. Okay. Let's just say this. You are where you are, wherever you are in this industry. Your agency is where it is. 5 years from now. No. 3 years from now. 3 years from now. What is the next level that you want to get to?
I've already mapped that out, Scott, and we will be a minimum $3 million revenue agency, and there will be 3 of us running it.
When you say 3 of us running it, 3 employees or 3 partners, or what do you mean by that?
I'm open to some possible partnership, but potentially just me and 2 other employees.
Okay.
Me and 4 others and a couple other guys were talking about this a few days ago that, we're in an age where some of this tech is getting so advanced, and we're one of the agencies that are making the big transition over to HubSpot. And it's been an awesome move so far, and everything that it can do to reduce service load and labor costs and everything inside of there is going to help a lot. But you're going to see $5-10 million revenue agencies that are going to be able to operate with 3 to 5 employees in the next 3 to 5 years. It's going to happen.
Maximizing revenue.
Yeah.
Maximizing revenue.
That's it, man. I mean, we're making some pretty big transitions. I've opened a second agency that's focusing on a different niche, and all we're doing is program business there. Not selling anything direct.
Does it feel like that maximizing revenue with fewer employees, tamping that down, is easier to do on the commercial side than the personal side, because the personal line side is so service heavy?
100 personal lines agencies won't be able to do that, man. I honestly, there's some personal lines guys out there that kill it. I think it is really difficult right now for a scratch agent to come in and start making significant headway on the personal line side, unless you're in a state like Texas or some of these that are selling $12,000-$15,000 homeowners premiums. Yeah. And the stuff sticks because they can't really go anywhere because the markets are so limited.
Well, that's a little bit Bradley down here on the coast, man. You got, nice house. You're paying $8,000, $10,000, $12,000, $15,000 a year for homeowners, and there ain't just no whole lot of choices down here.
I know Bradley looks at some of this data too. The report that I saw from last year was, as of the start of this year, there were 6,000 less independent agencies than there were at the start of last year.
I did not know that.
It was 45,000 last year. We're down to 39,000 this year.
No, wait a minute.
There's some acquisition and stuff in that, but I think that there's agencies that are just.
Yeah, I'm just going to sit here and stay here. That's what,
So somebody tells you to leave.
People around me keep getting bought up and swallowed up. And I'm just like, we're just going to be here,
Yeah, we have picked up a lot, not a lot, but some business this year. I'd say more than $100,000-$200,000 in premium, due to acquisitions in our area up there that I hate to say they've taken their eye off the ball, but it's just a little different,
The other thing too, Kody, is, we go through these waves where there's a bunch of new startup agencies. We went through that in 2017 to 2020. That's about to happen again.
You think so?
You have, in the next 24 months, you're going to have this new wave where you have a bunch of people starting independent agencies.
Why is that?
Just because the way the market goes, when the market softens, and then when the market hardens, less people are opening agencies and that sort of thing. I mean, dude, 4 years ago, like every day in my DMs, there was somebody, hey, I'm starting an agency. Can you help me? And that sort of thing. And so that sort of corrects, in terms of agency count, that sort of corrects some of that. But I'm not one of these guys that looks at there being less agencies as a bad thing. I'm like, just more for me.
Dude, I think that there's opportunity there, man. And I feel sorry for some of these guys that are coming in to do it, honestly, because this entrepreneurship trend that we've been on for the last 5-6 years of everybody needs to be an entrepreneur and it's cool. I'm sorry, dude, but most people that try to do this shit, they're not built for it. And they're going to fail, and they'd be a lot happier, and they'd make a lot more money coming into an agency like yours and being a producer and have 100%. A lot happier life, or going to work for a big commercial shop and making $200,000-$300,000 a year after a couple of years and working 9 to 5 and going home to their wife and kids.
Well,
Yeah.
there's so many agencies out there that the owners were just not in a situation where they could be happy unless they just went out on their own. You know, and I tell people all the time, like, what's your reason for starting your agency? And there's only two reasons, in my opinion. One is I want to make money. Two is I can't breathe
Working for
unless
somebody else.
I can't breathe working for somebody else. If your reason is number one, making money, you need to go work at an agency that gives you the tools and the resources you need to make a bunch of money, because starting an independent agency, it's a long tail to make that money, right? You have to be willing to not make a ton of money in a greater than 10-year window. Like I remember 2 years ago, I had an employee in my office pissed off that I didn't give him a raise. And I was like, brother, you made more money than I did and last year. And it's a long tail payoff owning an independent agency. If your goal is to make money in a less than 10-year window, you need to go be a producer at an agency that has all the infrastructure, all the resources, all the tools that you can to maximize what you can make. Now, if it's because you can't breathe working for somebody else, then hell yeah, go do it. Right?
Yeah, if you got to have all the power and the control, then don't do it. Don't go to work for another agency.
Right. There's so many independent agency owners out there, and I don't mean this negatively. There's so many out there that would thrive in an agency being a good number two.
Yeah.
I mean, just do phenomenal.
I've got one of the shops here that's been trying to buy me for 2 years and trying to get me to go there. And they've put a plan in front of me that said, dude, you can come in here and probably be making $800,000 with your current book that you have coming over, and the comp plan will put you on. You keep it the current pace you're on, you'll be there in 2 years. But man, I'm just built different. I
can't
I
see you being a
everywhere,
guy that's
man.
gonna go to work for somebody else.
T-shirts, hats, shorts, tattoos, like that's me. And I couldn't go do that in that shop over there. They'd put me in a suit every damn day, and I will make less money not to wear a suit.
Yeah, same.
But then you've got the guys that are like, oh, dude, I just want freedom. Brother, you better keep that 8-hour-a-day job, because you come start swimming in this pool, you're looking at 20-hour days for a long ass time.
Yeah. Well, it's like I was telling somebody the other day, they were like, do you have a number that you'd sell Portal at? And I do. And we are so far from that. So any of my employees listen to this, you don't have to worry about this anytime soon. But I told the person, I said, man, if somebody came in and offered me that today and was going to overpay, if I felt like I was going to feel like I had a boss, I'd say no. I don't want to feel like I have a boss.
Yeah.
You know, and that's just very important for me. I don't want to have to explain to you, like it's the same reason I turned down investor money when I started Portal. Like, I don't want to have to explain to you why I took this meeting over that meeting, right? So this week, Scott and I are podcasting Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday, and I'm basically not here when I'm podcasting. Wednesday, I'm staying home with my kids all day. I'm here Thursday, and Friday, I'm speaking to young agents of Louisiana and New Orleans. I'm going to be there all day. I don't want to have to, I'm working one day this week. Okay. I don't want to have to explain to you why I'm doing these things. You know what I'm saying? Like, I do not like being told what to, outside of my marriage, I do not like being told what to do.
Understood.
My wife can tell me what to do. She's the only person.
Kody Houk, we love you, brother.
Pleasure to finally connect with you guys, man. This is fun.
Let's do it again.
Absolutely.
Anytime,
guys, you were listening to the Insurance Guys podcast. And as I end every episode, rewards come from action, not discussion. Get your ass out from behind that desk today. Stop doing TPS reports. Stop shuffling paperwork around on your desk. Become the mayor of your village. Go write good business for the agencies that you represent, and write good business for the carriers that you represent. Bradley Flowers, I love you.
Thanks, buddy. Thanks, Kody.
Thank you, Kody. Guys, you are listening to the Insurance Guys podcast, and we love each one of you. Thank you so much for being a part of our family, and we'll see you back here real soon. Take care.